All right, welcome into day 8. We're in week 2 of our 31 days to new beginning. Hope you guys are hanging in there, doing well, keeping up with the lessons. Today we're talking about acts of kindness. Acts of kindness. And our quote is, "No act of kindness, no matter how small, is ever wasted." No acts of kindness, no matter how small, is ever wasted. So in today's lessons, we're going to explore this transformative power of kindness. And we're going to pretend like we have a toolbox, and we're going to put in yet another tool, and that tool is kindness. This course is directly related to our enlightening ReThink Podcast, where we challenge conventional thinking and we inspire personal growth. And I'm going to link one of our podcasts as we talked about the power of kindness and encouragement here on this particular lesson, because I think it's apropos. Now, what are we going to do today in terms of activity? So you know that each lesson comes with a worksheet and an activity, and where appropriate, we're going to associate it with one of our podcasts so you can get additional information and then additional support. So let's start off with today. We've got 5 activities. Your activity sheet is going to be really descriptive, and it's going to talk about how to choose your act of kindness, how to execute it, and then reflections in terms of how you felt about what you did. So let's talk about acts of kindness and 5 activities. So 1 is pay it forward. So in the spirit of today's practice, consider paying for someone behind you in the drive-thru or at a coffee shop. You can choose to do this anonymously, as wrote here, to leave a kind note. But really, I think the best thing to do is to do this anonymously. Now, this is one of my favorite things to do. And I'll tell you the 2 things that I choose to do. They're both anonymous. One is to pay for someone's food as you're walking through a, checkout line in the grocery store. And it's up to you how much you want to pay. $20, $40, not a whole lot of money, but it could be, very impactful to the person behind you in line. And also it's going to really brighten their day to think that someone thought enough of them anonymously to do this act of kindness. And more than that, it can encourage them to do the same thing, i.e. pay it forward. Now, I've done that particular act of kindness, and the second one is at a drive-thru. Now, if you're at a drive-thru and you want to pay for someone's meal behind you, it's very easy to do. So you just simply say, "Hey, I'm paying for my meal, and I'd like to pay for the meal in the car behind me." I'll tell you a really quick story. My family and I were in Gatlinburg one year. We were headed up to the mountains one early morning to enjoy the day. And we happened to stop at a Chick-fil-A just to grab the kids some breakfast and things like that. And when I got up to the counter, to the drive-thru, to the window, the lady said, "You know what? It's free today. The car in front of you paid for your meal." And of course, my thinking was, number 1, how awesome is that? But number 2 is, I don't want to stop this chain. So I asked her, really? She said, "Yeah, this has been going on for 11 cars. So I'm not going to be the one that stops this." So guess what I do? I do the same thing for the car behind me. Now, the great thing about doing this and also doing it anonymously is because it really benefits you. Now, does it benefit the other person? Yes. But the way that you feel when you do this act of kindness, it is unlike any other feeling. It really promotes a sense of well-being in you. And really what it does is it allows you to be that person that you are. Or at least for me, it's a great feeling, and I highly recommend. Now, here's another act of kindness. You can help a neighbor, particularly if you have a senior type neighbor that needs help. So you can reach out to your neighbor. This could be shoveling. This could be cutting grass. It could be helping them with their groceries when they come home from the grocery store, or any particular act of kindness. Doesn't necessarily have to be a senior, but certainly if you have seniors in your neighborhood, let's pay very close attention to our seniors. What about sending a thoughtful message? Everybody's texting so much these days. A simple act of kindness could be taking a few minutes and texting to your loved one. This could be your wife, your husband. This could be your girlfriend, your boyfriend. This could be your mom, your dad. It doesn't really matter. The fact that you thought enough of them today to send them, not on their birthday, not on a holiday, not on some, special day, but just because they are who they are, and you sent this very kind note and you let them know that you were thinking about them and appreciating their presence in your life. Imagine, if you will, someone doing that to you. How would you feel? Well, that's how they're going to feel. They're going to feel great. They're going to feel special. They're going to feel love, and they're going to feel noticed. And what are you going to feel? You're going to feel great for having done it. What about donating to charity? Here's another way that you can perform an act of kindness. An act of kindness can be locating your favorite charity. For example, me and my wife give to St. Jude's. We've never had to use their services, thank goodness, but we know many families have, and we do really appreciate the type of work that an organization like St. Jude's, embarks upon and does for families who have these kinds of challenges, especially, with their kids. Again, we have kids, and fortunately for us, we've never had to, be hospitalized and had, terminal sicknesses and things like that. But boy, do we feel for the parents who are going through that, who have gone through that. So what's the least we could do? We could donate to a charity like St. Jude's, who takes care of these families. They don't charge them. They rely really mainly on donations from, the private sector, public sector. So pick a charity, donate, and do it anonymously. And then lastly, volunteering your time. Volunteering your time is just that, all the time when we talk about resources, we're not talking monetarily. Your time is a very, very valuable resource. And if someone's willing to give to you their time, that is giving to you something that really they can never get back. You can always get back more money, but you can never get back your time. So when you value your time, spend it where it is most valuable. And it can be a situation where you're helping a really good friend move. It can be a situation where you volunteer. I'll give you an example of what I do. Each week in my town, it's called Meals on Wheels. But what happens is you are delivering meals to people on behalf of a county department that says, okay, we've identified people in our community that really are living under the poverty line and they need assistance. And so we provide at least 1 or 2 meals for them every day to ensure that they have something nutritious to eat. They need volunteers, however, from the community to deliver these meals to their neighbors. I've been doing this for years. Me and my daughter for years, probably, I would say 6 or 7 years, we have been doing Meals on Wheels. And again, I can't tell you the type of feeling that you get from helping someone who's in need. There is a connectivity there, mainly because everyone's one. And what you give to the other, you give to yourself. So that good feeling is really cyclical. And you get to meet some really, really great people. So check around in your neighborhood, in your community, in your city. See how you can volunteer your time. Maybe you're an artist and you're a fantastic artist. What if you went down to the local elementary school in your city, in your town, in your country, and said, hey, I just like to show these kids how to draw. I want to share my talent with them. What if you're a singer? Or what if you are a dentist or a barber? Taking your chair down to a underserved community where kids need haircuts or dental surveys and they're not able to afford them. Go down one Saturday, cut for a few hours, do your dental practice for a few hours, and let the community come out and serve them for free. That is a way to give back. And personally, I don't think you can ever give too much. I think the universe, I do believe very strongly in reciprocity and in the sowing and reaping concepts that are, in every, sacred scripture. You get what you give, and you will get it back, and you will get more of it. So if you want encouragement, give encouragement. If you want, someone to help you, help someone else. So this is day 8, and this is our practice for today. You have a worksheet within the constructs of the platform. All you have to do is download. It's going to walk through you some of the ways to identify the type of activity that you'd be most passionate about. You'll be able to document it step by step, create a plan. You're going to be able to document the recipient's reaction just for you only, and then maybe to think about what is a ripple effect of your act of kindness. There's so many mental benefits to kindness. I'm going to run through a few. Number one is increase happiness, not just for you. This triggers endorphins for you and the person that's receiving the act of kindness. This is our feel good hormone. So let's say, for example, that person behind you in the drive-thru was just not having the greatest morning or the greatest evening, and they get this one act of kindness. At least it allows them to know that someone somewhere was thinking about them. So the natural mood lifters create a sense of happiness and contentment. And when you make someone else happy through your actions, it boosts your own happiness in return. This is scientifically proven. All you have to do to prove it to yourself is perform an act of kindness. The next thing that performing acts of kindness does, it reduces your stress and anxiety. Maybe this is very intuitive, but engaging in acts of kindness, it lowers your stress levels. You take the focus off of you and you put it on to someone else. So whatever it is that you were concerned about or worried about, that doesn't exist. You want to help someone because everyone is, experience some challenges. And maybe what's a challenge to the other person is not necessarily a challenge to you. So acts of kindness often involve connecting with others and building positive relationships. This can help to reduce feelings of loneliness and social isolation. So this in return can lead to lower stress and anxiety levels. Okay, again, reduce stress and anxiety. And then lastly, enhance your self-esteem and enhance your self-worth. Be that person. Be that example. Helping others and making a positive impact on their lives, it boosts your self-esteem and your self-worth. It provides a sense of accomplishment and purpose. It reminds you that you have the ability to make a difference in the world. Again, it reminds you that you have the ability to make a difference in the world. So as you witness the positive effects of your kindness, you begin to see yourself in a different and a more positive light. That's very key. As you are embarking on your 31 days to new beginning, a practice like this can put you in a completely different mindset about yourself. And that's exactly what you want to do. Guys, really, really dig into day 8 and do your best, be your best, and let's see what happens. I'll see you in day 9.